med spa. And at home, it's important that they continue their skincare regimen, right?
It
So
is.
I think we want to teach people to avoid direct sun, right? And avoid cigarette smoking, even
Yes.
secondhand smoke. And then there are those all important steps, properly cleansing, exfoliating that I want to talk to you about, stimulating and regenerating, and then of course moisturizing. So let's talk
Hmm.
about exfoliating. How does a person exfoliate through their skincare program at home?
There could be two different types of exfoliation at home. Sometimes people have got the little handheld microdermabrasion machine. There's that kind of exfoliation. Then there is apricot seed exfoliation, or there is a mask exfoliation, like a pumpkin peel can be a type of exfoliation. It's not
Right.
really a peel. They call it a peel. Most people actually don't peel, but they call it a peel because of the lower pH. It's lower than a typical mask. And so those are the types of exfoliations. Or there could be a product like the Zeo Skin Health. They've got those little pads that's called TE, and it was called topical exfoliation because of the texture of the pad and the chemicals in the product.
Okay, so now I want to review. As we know, the epidermis, that is what we see, and under the epidermis is the dermis, and that lies upon the subcutaneous fatty layer. And the very top layer of the epidermis is not living. It's like skin and hair. It's a keratin. It's not living at all. And exfoliation is that process where we can get some of that to shed, and we can actually encourage the very top layer of cells to shed, and so the skin has a brighter sheen and a glow, and it actually encourages new baby cells to be manufactured. We want that germinal matrix to turn on and make baby cells to come to the surface. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, and typically that is a 28-day process in a younger person. As we get older or environmental stressors, that slows that process down, and people get that dead skin, very dull complexion look. But as you get older, that process is no longer 28 days. It takes a lot longer for those cells to rise to the top so they can exfoliate on their own. So you kind of have to help them along.
Excellent. Well, what I like to try to get across to patients and people is that they need to hang in there, because if they say, oh, if they tell the esthetician or they say, doctor, I did skincare for 2 weeks and I haven't noticed any difference. Well, they haven't even given themselves one opportunity for the cycle, because it takes, as you said, 28 days. I say 30. I tell my patients usually a month for the new baby cells to get from the germinal matrix up to the top where
Hmm.
you can even tell. So if you hang in there for 30 days, you get the results of one cycle change. But if you hang in there for 3 cycle changes and 4, 6, etc.,
Yes.
then you get a lot of the benefit. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. And they would see it more if they were to take a picture of their skin, because people forget what they look like. And especially if you see your face every single day, you don't realize how much better you're looking every single day in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, if you stay on the protocol and you're consistent. It's all about consistency too. You can't just do it 1 week and then 2 weeks later do it another day. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be consistent.
Got to be consistent because there's a cell turnover and a cycle, etc. So, Gio, what about stimulating that germinal matrix, and what about stimulating the cells, the body, to make new cells and to lay down new collagen and lay down new hyaluronic acids, etc.? How do we do that?
I like doing that in the form of a microdermabrasion. I think that works really well. And there are microdermabrasion, silk pill, hydrofacial that not only exfoliate like that, but also infuse the skin with special serums, and that helps stimulate that process as well.
Okay, so are there special serums, vitamin C, for example, that you encourage people to use because you feel it stimulates the germinal matrix and can actually make new baby cells?
It does. Vitamin C is probably one of the best things that you can put on your face, vitamin C serum. I use vitamin C just about every single day on my face, my neck, my chest, the top of my hands. And it's also called the BLT, brightens, lightens, and tightens. Vitamin C is excellent, and you can get it up to 20% if your skin can handle it. And sometimes it's like with vitamin E, like a couple percentage of vitamin E to so it kind of buffers any kind of irritation that you might get. But vitamin C is crucial for skin.
Well, Gio, you're teaching me a lot. The BLT, brightens,
Lightens and tightens.
This is just worth the price of admission alone.
So you should have gone to esthetician school.
Well, I like plastic surgery, and I like to work with estheticians who are experts like you. So we talked about exfoliation. We talked about stimulating the germinal matrix to make new baby cells. Now, what about properly moisturizing? Why is it that we need to teach people how to moisturize their skin?
It's very important that the skin stay hydrated. And if it's not hydrated, a couple of things are going to happen. It's going to become irritated. And some people, I know it's counterintuitive, like, oh, my skin is oily, so I shouldn't hydrate. No, you always need to hydrate. You just can't hydrate the same as a person with dry skin, but everybody needs to hydrate their skin. They've got to keep it moist. And your face is going to react differently to environmental stressors than your hands or your arms. It's going to show on your face, and you have to follow those steps. I know a lot of people, they get a little lax about their skincare because they see what I do, and I've got 5 steps, and I do all 5 steps, but to me it's worth it. And people, oh, well, I want to have just one product and all this in it. Well, that's probably not going to happen for a number of reasons. You can't combine those kind of ingredients. It wouldn't be effective to do that. And you really have to layer, oftentimes, the products on your skin in order for them to work.
Okay, Gio, and something else that I think we want to teach patients, that as we encourage that keratin layer to become a little thinner, because a thick keratin layer makes the skin look kind of dull and it loses its sheen and you don't get light reflection. It does actually serve as some moisture barrier. So as we exfoliate that, we do want to teach people how to moisturize and, of course, to avoid direct sunlight. Isn't that correct?
Yes, direct sunlight. You know, I read this study a couple of years ago that even heat, well, they did a research on people that work in kitchens that had hyperpigmentation that didn't go out in the sun. And they determined that it was because of the heat that created that hyperpigmentation too. So, you know, just because somebody's wearing a hat and sunscreen, that doesn't mean that the rays are not bouncing off the cement or off your metal chair and, you know, getting in other parts of your face. So those kind of dangers are everywhere.
Okay. And although it may feel great to lay in the sun, go to the beach, etc., it just, the UV rays really play havoc with the dermis and the collagen layers, and it wrecks the elastin, and people get hyperpigmentation, etc. Isn't that true?
That is true. And I come from a generation to where we soaked in the sun with baby oil and iodine. And I not only soaked in the sun, I laid on cardboard boxes wrapped in foil to make sure I got those rays everywhere. And so now I've spent the last 30 years of my life, I'll be 61 next month, I've spent the last 30 years
Gio, you look
mitigating that damage.
You look great.
That's a lot of it's thanks to you.
Wow. You have great genes and you take great care of yourself. You're terrific to come on the program and teach the public about how to take care of their skin. So can we give out your name and contact information if someone has questions about good skincare? And if it's okay with you, I'd like to mention our new med spa. Revitalescence Med Spa is now open. We have a Monterey branch. As you know, for years there has been a Salinas Revitalescence Medical Spa and Laser Center. Now we have a Monterey medical spa, med spa, with Dr. Silk and Dr. Romans. We're delighted. So if they have other questions, are you practicing now, Gio?
Not yet, but I will be soon.
Okay, well, you're terrific. You're a great educator. We appreciate you coming on the program. Thanks so very much.
Thank you for asking
Gio
me.
Stefaggio, licensed esthetician, and in other stages you have a master's esthetician license. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
If you have any questions about good skincare, the med spa, how to take care of your skin, peels, laser, etc., I hope you'll go to my website, drmorwood.com, DRMORWOOD, or call my office, 831-646-8661. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon right here in beautiful Monterey, Pebble Beach, Carmel, Pacific Grove, California. We're going to take a very brief pause for a very good cause. I hope you'll stay with us. Hello, I'm Dr. David Morwood. I have over 25 years experience in plastic surgery. Here in California, we all love the outdoors. Golf, tennis, going to the beach. However, the sun can play havoc with the delicate skin on the back of the hands and neck. Call or click today to learn the newest methods for restoration and beautification of the hands, neck, and other areas affected by the sun. Hello, I'm Dr. David Morwood. I have over 25 years experience in plastic surgery. One of the common goals I share with my patients is that they look natural after their facial rejuvenation.
Dr. Morwood made me feel really comfortable. His staff is phenomenal. Going into his office is always a great experience.
Call or click today to learn how our combined approach of art and science can enhance your natural beauty. Hello, I'm Dr. David Morwood. I have over 25 years experience in plastic surgery. A smooth, firm neckline is a universal sign of beauty in both women and men.
Dr. Morwood not only helped me regain my confidence, he helped me achieve the best version of me.
Call or click today to learn how the natural neck lift can rejuvenate your beautiful neck and jawline. Welcome back to the Doctor Is in television program. I'm Dr. David Morwood. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon here on the beautiful Central Coast in California. Thank you very much for joining us. What I'd like to talk about for a few minutes in this next segment is rejuvenation of the mid portion of the face, also called the midface, also called central facial rejuvenation. You've heard me say in the past when I talk about the triangle of beauty, of facial rejuvenation, there are three parts. There's the skin, there is volume changes, and that's important with the midface. There's the amount of skin and the position of the skin, soft tissue position and amount, and of course the triangle rests upon a foundation. The foundation is the craniofacial skeleton itself. So let's talk for a moment about that all-important volume change in the midface. What we've learned, and plastic surgeons study these types of issues, is that as we mature, we tend to lose fat in the face and in the hands, and we put that fat on in the trunk. It's an unfunny practical joke. And it just simply happens with time and hormone changes and change in metabolism, etc. We lose fat in the face and in the hands and put that fat on in the trunk. Now, what happens in that center of the face, or what we call the midface? In general, plastic surgeons categorize and divide up the face into three sections. The upper face, which is essentially the forehead, the eyebrows, and the eyelids. The mid-face, the junction of the lower lid and the cheeks, down to the jowls. And then the lower third of the face is essentially the neck, the jawline, and the jowls, etc. So when we talk about the mid-face, that's treated very differently than, say, the neck. I do a lot of neck lifts. As you know, I do a lot of natural neck lifts, and I like to do a procedure where there's a crisp, clean, firm, tight neck and chin and jawline. I think that's very attractive for both men and for both women. And at the conclusion of a procedure, in general, my patients feel like their neckline is firm. We want to have that tightened, and we want a crisp, clean, as I said, neckline, jawline, chin line. However, for the mid-face, this central area of the face, if we pull a lot, if we remove too much skin, if we try to reposition in a lateral vector or oblique vector, then I think in general that results in kind of a pulled look. The patients tend to have a done look, and that's not for my practice, that's not for the Central Coast, and that's not for my patients, most importantly. So what is it about the central face, and how do we go about mid-face rejuvenation? Well, we have to pay attention to volume. Those volume changes, as I mentioned, as we lose fat in the mid-face, it allows gravity to take over, and so the mid-face deflates, and it allows gravity to take over and pull down and descent. And something else happens that's very important.